Window News, where we open to windows of cultures around the world. I am Andrew.
And I am James. Tonight, we are taking you to Afghanistan, a country with thousands of years of history, rich traditions, and deeply meaningful customs around life's most universal moment, death.
Stay with us. You might be surprised just how much community, faith, and dignity shape the Afghan farewell.
So, who practices these customs? Nearly 99% of Afghanistan's population is Muslim, and Afghan funeral traditions are deeply rooted in Islamic law, known as Sharia. These practices are followed by Afghans across the country, in cities like Kabul, in rural villages, and even Afghan communities here in Canada.
What happens at an Afghan funeral? Let's walk through it step by step.
The moment someone passes away, the community immediately comes together, and Islamic law calls for burial of the body as soon as possible, ideally within 24 hours of the person's death.
First, the body is ritually washed, called ghusl, by family members as individuals of the same gender as the deceased, using heated water. This symbolizes physical and spiritual purification.
Then the body is wrapped in a simple white cloth called a kafan, a shroud. There is no casket used in traditional Muslim burial.
After that comes the funeral prayer, the Salah al-Jazal. This prayer is usually performed inside of a mosque or directly outside of it, and the whole community is expected to attend.
Where does this burial happen? The body is placed in a grave on its right side, facing the Mecca, the holy city of Islam. The grave is kept simple, but there's just a small marker to identify it.
When does the mourning begin? It begins immediately, and it lasts a long time. The community feeds and cares for the grieving family throughout the traditional 3 days of mourning, and this support can continue up to 40 days.
Why are these rituals so important? In Islam, death is seen as a transition from this life to the next. A test completed. The rituals emphasize simplicity, humility, and prayers for the deceased soul. And we'll get
Now, one of the most powerful parts of Afghan funeral culture is the community response to grief. This isn't just a one-day event.
That's right. There are special gatherings at key milestones. Families come together on the 7th day, the 40th day, and the 1-year anniversary of the person's death. At these gatherings, people recite the Quran, give to charity, and do good deeds on behalf of the deceased.
There's even a beautiful spiritual belief behind those days. In Islamic tradition, the soul is believed to visit loved ones on the 7th and 40th day. And the greatest gift the family can offer is a good deed done in the deceased's name.
During the mourning period, some families wear only black. A widow in particular wears black for a full year. Grief is expressed, but always with dignity. Loud wailing is not permitted. Mourners are expected to remain composed.
It is also a very communal experience. While the bereaved prepare their loved ones for burial, community members come forward to handle logistics, and neighbors bring food to the family every day for the first 3 days.
And now to a relevant and recent news story that shows us how much these traditions matter and how they're being changed today.
In September 2025, Afghanistan International reported that the Taliban's Religious Council in Balak province introduced sweeping new restrictions on funeral rituals, following a decree by Taliban leader Hatibullah.
The clerics banned funeral gatherings anywhere except the deceased home, and prohibited women other than immediate relatives from attending. Remember, gatherings at community halls or hotels have been common for families without space at home.
The council also banned traditional almsgiving on the 3rd day, on Fridays, on the 40th day, and on death anniversaries, key dates in Afghan mourning culture.
The Taliban had already shut down women's mourning halls across the country as part of a broader restriction on women. These mourning halls have been spaces where women could grieve together, support each other, and observe their traditions.
Critics have noted that hypocrisy, despite these new limitations, tabloids themselves attend high-profile funerals with large gatherings and prominent appearances.
This story matters because it shows that funeral customs aren't just historical; they're actively being contested in Afghanistan right now.
So what does this mean for Afghanistan today, and for Afghanistan communities here in Canada?
For Afghans living abroad, maintaining funeral traditions is a way of preserving cultural identity. Organizations like Afghan cultural centers help families perform Islamic prayer, burial procedures, and grief support according to Afghan traditions, even navigating local legal requirements.
Back in Afghanistan, the Taliban's restrictions are stripping away some of the community support systems that families have relied on for generations, particularly for women, who are increasingly isolated from public grief.
These traditions, the washing, the white shroud, the communal prayers, 4-day mourning, are more than rituals. They're how Afghan people say goodbye, support each other, and affirm that every life has a dignity.
That's our story for tonight's World Window News. Afghan funeral customs remind us how society says goodbye. How society says goodbye tells us a lot about its values.
Family, community, faith, simplicity, and dignity.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm James. Thanks for opening your window to the world with us tonight.
See you next time.
Keep the window open.